Hello. Not just the third solo episode, but the third time I've recorded this solo episode. Some of you might have heard the one that I uploaded yesterday, and it was baby poop in and around my mouth, and I apologize for that. I was first told by this really sassy, fat, jiggly, some would say Mexican. I don't know. I think he's more like a Punjab kind of East Indian. Either way, he's a just doughy, beautiful man. And he let me know that it sounds like absolute garbage. And then I noticed the first 4 comments on the YouTube page were also, this sounds horrible. Please delete it and never do it again. So I apologize for that. So I'm here again, re-recording. The mic is gone. So hopefully this one's better. I'm gonna upload the match study separate. So that's actually gonna go out Wednesday night. And then this will be kind of its solo episode. So if you want to see the match study, go to the YouTube page, or at the end, I will put it somewhere up here, I think. And it will be uploaded, and you can check out the match study by itself. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to go over exactly what I did on the last one. So if you have any interest in what my EDC is, the BJJ broke my body topic, am I a big fat wussy for not sparring with certain people? And then a question from a black belt on how to continue to get better for tournaments when you do not have high level partners, as in you're training with mainly white and blue belts. There's a black belt that asked this question. So I'm just gonna run straight into it with this little guy. That's the old EDC right there, Glock 19. Sometimes I go with the 43X, sometimes I go with an XD, but this is like my favorite, this guy right here. Just kind of give you guys a little rundown of it. If you already saw this part, I do apologize. Once again, this is getting a little ridiculous. What I like about the Glock 19 focus, there we go, is I go iron sights all day. It's just my preference. Learned from my best friend, or one of my best friends, Aurelius. He's an active operator overseas, and he's kind of slick with the old weaponry, and he's just always kind of preached going iron sights, so I basically followed suit. But what I did do is I changed a lot of the controls. For example, I have a Zev mag release right here, which it's kind of hard to tell, but it's protrudes more than the factory one. It also has a little perforation to add some grip for the thumb when you want to actuate that, like so. On the 43X, I did the slide release, but I did a Vickers slide release, and I also did a Vickers mag release, and I don't like them as much. The slide release isn't bad, but the mag release, it doesn't actually protrude much more than the factory one, and it doesn't have as much bite. So for me, I actually much rather have this Zev, Z-E-V, and then with the magwell, it's a big chunky thing. Let's see if it focus, you dirty dog. Big old thing. I really like this because you'll get a good purchase. It kind of jams the pinky in there, so when I'm grabbing, it is just money. Like I feel it every time, snugs the pinky in there. If you don't like that pinky being jammed very much, this is from Empire. They go out of stock all the time, but if you do like kind of that snug hold, I would recommend this one. I did a different brand on the 43X. It's a little bit smaller, and I wish I had actually gone to the big boy. I also use the Talon grips. These are $20. This one's been going for about 3 years or so, and you can see it's starting to wear. It's the most aggressive one there is. I love it. I love these things. I put them on every single gun. I got them on my AR, just back here. I got them on my XD, 43X. I got them on all of them, and I also got a little sliver here for my thumb alignment, just so when I pull this and I start to present, I get that thumb placement on the rotation. So as I'm coming in, my thumb placement is coming right on point, and I know if my thumb feels that little bit of tape there, then I know I'm gonna get a good purchase with the second hand. And as I come out, snap that pencil, right? Bam. I can get a good alignment, good consistent grip. I'm big on like triggers, not actual trigger, but on markers for whether it's jiu-jitsu or photography or anything like that, or even shooting. If I can have little physical markers that every single time I can just find this, oh, I love it. It feels good. But that's the everyday carry, the Glock 19 Gen 5. Iron sighted up. This is Marley. Hey. He's old. I think he's like 15 years old or something like that. Bit of a curmudgeon, a little bit of an asshole, but we like him. Moving on. I got some bitching to do, and I'm just gonna get right into it. Okay. BJJ broke my body. I'm sure a lot of you have seen this super viral video. It's got 1.3 million views. And it's a purple belt with a haircut like me talking about how BJJ broke his body. The thumbnail's got his purple belt. He's wearing his gi. He's holding all of his Naga medals. He talks about how he's a pretty good purple belt and all this. And what stoked this, I saw that 6 months ago. I just saw Jordan Loves Jiu-Jitsu YouTube do a video that was similar, and he's talking about every little injury he's gotten and all that. I don't know. To me, the vibe of all that just bothers the hell out of me. And I think it's because any hobby you do that's physical, you're gonna get injuries or banged up or something like it. It doesn't matter if you go running. If you run on cement, your knees are gonna get destroyed over time, right? Your hips. CrossFit, obviously, you're getting destroyed. Now in jiu-jitsu or any combat art, are you gonna get more dinged up than maybe the average hobby? Sure. But I don't know, I think putting out this notion that BJJ destroyed my body is a little bit silly. I mean, yes, do I have taped on both feet right now just to live? Yeah, I do. But I ain't bitching about it. Will I bring it up every time in class that someone says, hey, why are your feet more taped than last time I saw you? Yeah, I might bitch a little bit. But I think putting stuff out there to these people that have popular YouTube pages to show that BJJ is if you do it, just know you're never gonna walk the same in your butthole. You'll never fart. You'll never be able to hear your farts again because it's gonna freaking pound your butt. But sorry, I'm getting a little crazy there. I didn't mean that. But you get what I'm saying? Tell me, am I being ridiculous? Am I being just a soft sissy boy where I'm like a curmudgeon? I've been hanging out with Chris so much that the littlest things make me mad. I don't know. You tell me. But I just feel like putting these things out there of how our body gets destroyed by jiu-jitsu, and that's something you gotta really keep in mind. It's I feel like you can do jiu-jitsu and train daily and not have all these injuries and all these cracking your knuckles and arthritis and I think putting it out there I don't even have a full thought on this. I guess I watched it last night and I was this is some stupid shit. So then I just started ranting about it. I feel like my other rants were a little bit better, so I apologize for this one. But I want to know what you guys think. Do you guys like those videos where people talk about like BJJ broke my body and all that kind of stuff? Side note, I don't know how any of you guys watch Jordan Loves Jiu-Jitsu. I'm sure he's an absolute sweetheart. I bet I would love to eat tacos with the guy. I would love for him to read me a bedtime story because his voice puts me to sleep. Like, all I want is for and I'm not trying to talk shit. I'm not trying to talk shit. I said with all due respect, okay? But with all due respect, the guy needs to at least act like you're enjoying yourself. It sounds like he's literally at gunpoint and his kids are off camera. Someone's about to murder him and he's being forced to do these videos. Am I wrong on this? And I get why he has a lot of followers. His thumbnails are good. His titles are good. He used to be really consistent on his uploads, like more active. I get all that. But damn. And then he starts a podcast. A podcast. Would you think that okay, no, I almost got political there. I'm not going to do it. But if there's one person in the world that I would be like, maybe don't start a podcast, it's probably him. You know what I'm saying? Trash talk over. I didn't mean it, Jordan. I know you're watching. I think you're fine. Like I said, you're a very nice young chap. Just put some excitement in the damn voice, huh? Anyways. Being a wussy is my thing, right? We talked about that. So now that I've called Jordan out, we can call myself out. I get a lot of guff in our gym about not rolling with the toughest guys in the gym every single time that they're in. It's not that I never roll with them, but I will say no. To me, I think it's fine. I think if you don't want to roll with someone, because whatever, you just don't like their vibe, you think they stink, you're afraid of getting hurt, there's a plethora of reasons. I think it's totally acceptable. I think you do need to look at the inside, all the way down, if you are avoiding those rolls because you just don't want to lose. That, once again, do you, boo-boo. It is what it is. But if you do identify that that is the reason, and when you're sitting on the toilet and you're like, damn, I should have rolled with that guy. I just didn't want to freaking get smushed, man. If that's the reason, probably need to address that. But if there's other reasons, as I said already, and there's even more, I don't think there's anything wrong. Which is why I exercise this. Because typically, when I go with certain people, I get hurt. Or I get something tweaked. Because it's a knockdown, drag-out battle, you know? I'm far from one of the better guys in the gym. So when I go with the better guys in the gym, I'm just getting destroyed. Whether it's with my coach or whoever. Like, it feels like I have zero positive moments, right? And when I do, it's like few and far between. That's not why I'm not rolling with them. I'm not rolling with them because either it's not fun, which I do jiu-jitsu for a large part for fun, because maybe they're stuck. Like, I'm not saying every single person is like this. Everyone has their own reason, right? So like one guy, I might not roll with him because it's not very fun. They don't do much jiu-jitsu. They just do the same move over and over again. They outweigh you by 30 pounds or something like that. And they're way stronger than you. And it ends up being almost like a stalemate because they do one move, you defend it, and then you're outsized, outstrength. They got good enough jiu-jitsu that you can't really do much. So then it's just a boring ass round. Like, to me, I like rounds with like a lot of movement, or I like a lot of strategic rounds too. Like my coach and I, when we are training like harder, there's actually not a ton of scrambly movements until like the very end. But within the round, there's a lot of strategic gripping. And it's like hard to tell from the outside. It looks like we're just kind of like sitting there, but there's a lot of tension in all moments. But then some guys, like, they scramble like crazy, and maybe they outweigh me by 20, 30, 40 pounds. And in those moments, I feel kind of like danger, like I could get hurt because of how they scramble. Or they throw on submissions really freaking fast and hard. So I get worried that I'm gonna potentially get hurt if I don't tap fast enough. This light is perfectly in my eyeball. That is freaking amazing. I have these blinds. I got one blind that is like kind of broken because the cat is a jerk, this one right here. And so it's just broken a little bit. And I decided to do the podcast at the perfect time. This son of a gun is right in my eye. That's you, buddy. That's you. You. Not actually hitting them, I promise. Where was I? So, yeah. If they put on subs super fast, I get hurt. I get little tweaks or injuries or something like that, and then I'm out. Or I can't spar much or whatever it is. I like to train basically every single day. So that affects me greatly. So my question to you guys is, am I being a big fat wussy? A big fat wussburger? Am I the glizzy champ? Am I choking down hot dogs like there's no tomorrow? Or am I a sophisticated young man? That's all I want to know. Be relentless. If you think I am being a big fat douche, tell me. Just put it in the comments, let me know, and I'll start rolling with more people. I probably won't listen to you at all, actually, because I don't even listen to the people that shame me at my own gym for not rolling with certain people. So there's a great chance that I'm not going to listen to you either, but I would love to hear your opinion nonetheless. So let me know on that. Next is our black belt question. Now, if it seems like I'm kind of rushing through this, it's because it's the third freaking time I've done this, but also I'm trying to do this in under 30 minutes. So we'll see. Okay. So black belt from Canada. He messages us, and I'm just going to read his question. He says, I'm a black belt and I like to compete. For the past year or so, I've been teaching the fundamentals class at my gym, which is mostly white belts and a handful of blue belts. I work a full-time job and I have a family, so my time is limited. The upper belts train at a different time that he can attend. I let the white belts and blue belts get dominant positions and I try to work my way out. I also do positional sparring as well. The white and blue belts can't give me the same level of training with the upper belts. I wish I had more time to train with the upper belts. Currently, I train 4 to 5 times a week, but only in the beginner's class. As someone who likes to compete myself, but don't have the luxury of more training partners, any suggestions or ideas for my training when I compete at black belt? Great question. I'm not in the exact same boat, but in the day class that I'm in, we get a couple brown belts that drop in, and they're really good. They absolute killers. And we have a larger group of purple belts. Just on Monday in the day class that I teach, we had, I think it was 8 or 9 purple belts, a white belt, and a brown belt. I can't remember if there's a blue belt or not, but that's what our day class has kind of turned into. Where there's like 1 to 3 brown belts, and then a couple white belts, and then a lot of purple, and then a few blues. So that's nice, because a purple belt, I feel like can give you pretty good looks. They're fairly advanced. They're gonna have pretty good reactions and stuff like that. But in your case with the white and blue belts, something I do, and I do this in just my class in general, is teach them how to pass your guard. Teach them how to beat your best moves. Now, I I would say I'm considered more of like a guard player, and a lot of people would probably classify me as a guard player, even though I feel like my passing is better than my guard. But that's just how I see myself. But I would say more people think I have a more dynamic guard, and specifically my guard retention, as in my guard can be sometimes, depending on who you are, it can be hard to pass. Now, sometimes certain people I can't defend them at all. My coach Andrew passes my guard whenever he feels he wants to. And then there's some other black belts in the gym. There's some brown belts. There's some purple belts that literally it feels like I can't even come close to stopping them. So, but in my class, what I do is I will specifically show the best passing against me. I'm fairly flexible. I can do like kind of weird things with my feet, and I can like kind of pick them up, and I can grab stuff, you know. Same with this one. I can bend them. I can grab things. So if you can pass my guard, passing other people's guards that are less flexible and play a less dynamic game, because I play a fairly modern game, if you can pass mine, you can pass someone else's, is how I look at it. At the same time, I'm going to, if someone knows exactly the best way to pass my guard, that's going to make my guard better, because I'm going to have to defend my A game. I'm going to have to level up my A game, but then I'm also going to have a better secondary game, because if they start, for example, in the way that I learned to pass my guard is I paid attention to how my coach, Andrew, passed my guard. He passes a very specific way, and I would take note of that, because it was essentially unstoppable forever. There's another black belt that he passes much different than Andrew, but also that style would work. So I had good samples of like two different passing styles that I really struggle with. So those are the two passing styles I would teach the lower belts. So as they get better at it, it actually makes me work. Now, yes, your timing is going to be different, and with a black belt and all that, for sure, no doubt about it. But you're going to start getting better looks as they get better and they actually level themselves up. Now, another thing, this might be difficult. You might not be able to do this. It might be out of the question. I don't know. If you could cross train once a month, once every 2 weeks is even better. Obviously, once a week is fine, or is best in my opinion, but you already train 4 or 5 days a week, so you're a pretty active guy in the training room. You got family, probably not going to happen every week. But if you can do every other week or once a month at a minimum, cross train. And I know what school you're at. It's a school that stereotypically isn't very cool about cross training. Not your specific school, I'm saying the association. So I hope that your specific school is actually pretty cool with cross training. If not, just ignore the next 5 minutes. But the reason I say cross train is because if you go to the advanced class, or where your upper belts are with your teammates, they know your game. Like, I know your game a little bit, and I just watched you at tournaments the last 3 or 4 times, and I know you like half guard. You'll pull right into half guard. You got a good deep half game. Your sweeps are good from half guard, and the thing is, your teammates will know that as well. So they will either avoid that position like the plague and not even let you get into it, or vice versa. You know that guy's a good spider guard player, that one guy that you go with. So you don't even experience his spider guard, because you don't even let him get into it. You know, it's like, if I get into his spider guard, he's going to get into his position. It's going to be a tough battle. So you don't even get into it. So what happens is your spider guard defense gets worse, because you're not going against the good spider guard player in your gym. So when you go against a guy in a tournament that has a good spider guard, instead of being versed there, it's actually, your skills are and your timing is a little off. Okay. If you drop into a gym, one, you're going to get the nerves. right, that naturally happen, especially being a black belt, because the purple belt's going to feel like he's got to prove his worth to you. The brown belts are always tough because, yeah, they're weathered and all that kind of stuff, but they're basically black belts skill-wise, right? And they want to show out for their gym. Obviously, other black belts will give you great rounds. And then even the blue belts are going to attack you like an absolute savage. And either you're going to get the colored belts that attack you like you owe them money, or they're going to be like too respectful, right? That's kind of typical, I think, when you're a black belt dropping in. But that look, I think, will be super valuable because you're not going to know if they're a spider guard player. You're not going to know if they're a deep half player. You're not going to know if they're a smash passer or an outside passer. You're going to be going into it organically and be able to play your best A game. And I would do that. I would play my best game. I wouldn't work on new stuff if I'm preparing for a tournament. That's a little caveat there. If I'm not preparing exactly for a tournament that's like a month away, then I will drop in someplace and I'll try my new stuff there that I've been working in the gym, and then I'll pressure test it at an open mat or something like that. And another reason I recommend open mat or dropping in someplace in cross training is because you know your own gym schedule. Let's say you teach your fundamentals and then advanced or whatever is right after, right? And then that's the limited schedule. Well, for example, here we have there's a Saturday class at our own gym at 10 a.m. and then I know of a Saturday class that's at noon. There's a Saturday class in Kirkland at 11. Okay, so, and then on Sunday, there's an open mat at 10 a.m. that's all affiliates at another gym, Sleeper Jiu-Jitsu in Linwood. And then there's also our own, which is at 1:30 in Everett. But then there's also a 2 o'clock in Linden, which is right across the border. If you can make that, I would recommend it, at Brazilian Top Team Linden. So because you're opening up your schedule to drop in places, there's going to be more opportunities to pick from for those for your limited schedule, and I think that could actually be really beneficial. And that's why I recommend cross training, because one, you're going to get different looks that you're unfamiliar with. You're going to practice your A game on unsuspecting people. They're going to practice their A game on you. They're going to come at you with a little bit more intensity and a little bit more intention, kind of like a tournament, right? And like I said, even if it's once a month, just to get those skills sharp, And then also on your white and blue belts, like, go back and forth. I think you're doing a great job by putting yourself in deep stage defenses and all that kind of stuff. Teach them how to exactly pass your guard and then go from there. And then also, and you probably already do this, but sometimes I will go A game on my blue belts and even my white belts, especially as they're getting stronger and tougher. I'll still get reps doing my absolute A game, and it's kind of smushy or it's dynamic or whatever. And what ends up happening is, as they got better, they're giving me more tension. They're like a little bit more rigid, right, as the lower belts do. But I'm going to go into it, whether they're a black belt or they're a white belt or a blue belt or a purple, whatever, and I'm going to try to do it at full speed. I'm going to try to attack them. I find it just turns into drilling with an active partner. It's almost like situational, because if, let's say, I'm working my crazy dog pass, I'm going to hit them with that Louisville slugger. They're getting that treatment. I'm going to solidify, and then I'm going to let them re-guard, and then I'm going to crazy dog to the other side. So I hope that helps. It's an interesting question. I think a lot of people are going to be dealing with that fat Mexican. He also said that he's dealing with that right now. He just moved away from our gym. So I think he got deported or something. But he's dealing with the same thing. So try to institute these things. I would love to hear what you guys think. If you guys have any recommendations for this black belt on how to get better for tournaments, specifically when your training partners are white and blue belts, let us know in the comments. Check out the match study. See y'all next time. Oh, We haven't forgot about all the questions that have come in. Next week, we're going to have Andrew Solheim, my coach, on. We're going to talk about tournament prep. Let's go.